Imagine it begins on an ordinary morning. The world wakes to headlines of a sudden, unstoppable catastrophe. Maybe it's a nuclear exchange, a runaway supervolcano, an asteroid on impact course, or a global network collapse triggered by cyber warfare. Whatever the cause, the effect is the same: civilization as we know it starts to unravel today. What would unfold, hour by hour, day by day, if the apocalypse began right now? Within minutes, news spreads faster than the disaster itself. Phones buzz, emergency alerts scream, social media floods with unverified reports. Traffic jams lock major highways as people race to reunite with loved ones or flee cities. Grocery shelves empty in a matter of hours. Cash machines are stripped of bills. Electric grids flicker under sudden surges as millions try to charge devices and draw water or fuel. If the event is global, an asteroid incoming or a chain of nuclear strikes, satellite networks jam with frantic signals, and governments issue conflicting instructions. Panic, confusion, and disbelief rule the first day. Urban centers descend into chaos. Police and emergency services are overwhelmed. Hospitals fill past capacity as accidents and violence spike. If the catastrophe disrupts power generation, blackouts roll across nations, silencing communications and shutting down water pumps. People form spontaneous communities for survival. Neighbors barricade streets, share food, and guard supplies. Others try to reach rural areas, believing the countryside safer. Major airports close, and air travel halts as governments attempt martial law. Markets collapse entirely. Digital money becomes meaningless without electricity. Physical currency loses value as food, clean water, and fuel become the only real currency. Infrastructure begins to fail. Without maintenance, power plants shut down, water treatment stops, and sewage systems overflow. Cities that depend on long food supply chains face hunger within days. Communication fragments into local radio or word of mouth. Groups start scavenging abandoned stores. Violence flares where resources are scarce, but many communities also cooperate, setting up communal kitchens and barter networks. Old skills, farming, hunting, carpentry, suddenly become priceless. If the apocalypse includes nuclear fallout or a deadly pathogen, entire regions empty as survivors flee or succumb. Highways fill with wreckage, while satellites overhead silently record the darkening grid of city lights. Governments either consolidate into emergency enclaves or dissolve. Military units may form regional authorities, but without supply lines their control weakens. Survivors settle into small pockets: farms, remote towns, improvised camps. Food production shifts to immediate, local methods: gardens, fishing, small livestock. Clean water is the new gold. Groups near rivers and lakes have a critical advantage. Medicines become rare and valuable. Diseases we once controlled, cholera, typhoid, return. Wildlife cautiously moves into abandoned suburbs. With fewer vehicles and less pollution, animals reclaim roads and parks. Nights grow eerily silent except for the sound of insects and wind. Nature continues its quiet takeover. Without constant pumping, subways and underground tunnels flood. Vegetation splits pavement and climbs skyscrapers. Domestic animals either die out or turn feral, mixing with wild populations. Communities that learn to cooperate thrive compared to isolated individuals. Trade routes emerge on footpaths and rivers. Stories and oral history replace digital memory. Children grow up knowing nothing of the world of constant connection and instant power. If the initiating disaster was a one-time event, like an asteroid strike, skies gradually clear of dust and smoke, but the climate may remain altered for decades. Survivors adapt clothing, shelter, and farming to new weather patterns. The physical remnants of modern civilization decay. Steel rusts, glass towers collapse, and satellites burn up in the atmosphere. Concrete monuments survive longest, but even they crumble under relentless freeze and thaw. Language drifts as isolated groups evolve new dialects. Knowledge that isn't carefully preserved, medicine, engineering, science, fades. Future generations might view our surviving books and ruins the way we view ancient temples, artifacts of a half-mythic age. Nature flourishes. Forests blanket suburbs, rivers carve new channels, and wildlife expands into niches once denied by human activity. Species pushed to the brink of extinction rebound without hunting or habitat loss. Imagining an apocalypse today isn't about predicting doom, it highlights our deep dependence on fragile systems. Food, water, electricity, and communication all rely on continuous maintenance and cooperation. Remove that network suddenly, and even advanced societies revert to small, self-reliant communities within weeks. It also shows the resilience of life. While our cities might fade, Earth itself would heal and continue. Forests would grow over concrete, oceans would cleanse themselves, and the planet would keep turning long after our machines go silent. If the end of civilization arrived this very day, the first hours would be chaos, the first months a struggle for survival, and the centuries that follow a slow rebirth of nature. It's a chilling reminder of how quickly the comforts we take for granted can vanish, and how important it is, while we still can, to build systems and communities strong enough to withstand whatever tomorrow brings.